Hi, Yolanda. Yet again, another recording with us together. And it's a follow-up in a way. I haven't recorded anyone between this our last conversation and this
Oh,
conversation.
wow.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a sabbatical as I've been working on other projects. Let's just say that.
Well, I feel honored to be here and have occur.
It's so perfect. It's always perfect
It
how
is.
this works out. Yeah. And I did want you back because there were certain things um after the last conversation. It's like we have this, oh man, I could have talked about this or that or and so I think let's touch into some of those thoughts that came up afterwards or even in this interim since we last spoke.
Okay, well, shoot a question out.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
I think for one of the questions is that something came up. I remember something that came up around babies or um,
Okay, around what?
babies.
Okay, you were freezing there a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Right now, yeah. So, okay, we'll just have to work with. Oh, about the babies. My midwife era.
You were talking about something where all of these babies kept coming in, where mothers who had babies, things that were coming in that um you're like, oh, next time we talk, we have to talk about my experiences
Oh,
that came in. And if you've already moved from those experiences, I'm fine with that. It's not about remembering, it's just I remember.
well, I remember. I'll never forget it. I mean, this is part of one of my things is sharing stories.
Mhm.
And the reason why I like to share stories of this type is because of examples of how to follow your intuition,
Mm.
how important it is for people to get to that place where they get so close and have such an intimate relationship with that inner self, and that they can um, get some guidance. So I had my daughter at home many years ago on a farm on a river, and that's a whole story in itself. But well, I guess I can start with that. It Yeah, I had a midwife, and it was on the farm. It was about an hour, well, pretty far away from town. You had to get on the jalopy trucks and go on the roads to get in. And so the midwife came down, and my friends gathered around, and she was saying, I'm just coming down here to see if you still want me to deliver your baby. And I thought, well, what are you asking me that for? Of course. And I was standing there, and I was in Braxton Hicks having those contractions, and I didn't say anything to anybody. And she said, well, because I want to go on vacation, and I just want to know long to stay. I mean, how long to stay. So what happened was I had this alter, altered state of consciousness that just kind of opened up, and what I heard was, "Don't have her at the birth." And I thought, okay. I said, well, it's okay. I think if you want to go on vacation, go ahead. We can handle it. And I'm just going to be kind of graphic here because this is something that's really happened that spurred me later on in life, probably 6 years later. And she said, if something happens to that baby, you're going to be charged for manslaughter. Now, what a crazy thing! A midwife.
Yeah.
And we found out later though that she didn't like didn't like us. So I was being protected. It was really cool how all that happened. But so I knew at some point in my life I didn't have my daughter at home, and gone through all this. And there was a reason to, you know. So it was always in the back of my mind that I was going to be a midwife someday. And I thought, no, I don't want to be a midwife. I don't want to be a midwife. I just don't want to. And so 6 years went by, and I was in southern Utah. And a friend of mine I was doing all kinds of things there, running on the ambulance, had a massage practice, um, was in a bluegrass band, had a couple foster kids. I mean, I was just like super mom. And so I was sitting on the ground, and my friend from the farm came up and said, I want to have my baby at home. And she lives on the river.
Hmm.
And she said, but I don't like the midwife here. And I don't really want the doctor to do it either. There's a doctor there who was delivering babies. His name was Dr. Plunkett. Anyway, he quit kind of doing it because, he was getting some heat from all the other doctors and things. So anyway, I was sitting there on the ground with her, and I heard a voice loud and clear. Now's the time to go train to be a midwife. Now's the time. And I didn't say anything to her. I said, well, if you need me, if you can use my house, you can come up here and be glad to accommodate you that way. So, oh no, I said, no, I don't want to be a midwife. But the doors opened, and there were these midwives up in Salt Lake, and they were getting the laws together, midwifery laws together. They were going, trying to get the papers and working on that. And I told her, I'm supposed to come up and learn how to be a midwife or get some tips. And said, I got the message, and they understand all that kind of stuff. And so she says, well, come on up. In the next 2 weeks, we have all these babies due, or we have babies due. So I went up and just really had a crash course of one thing after another. And all the babies were born when I was there. And so I got a lot of hands-on experience, and I can't even describe what it was like, but it was amazing. And they loaded me up with supplies and said, well, good luck. Give us a call if you need to. We're only like 2 hours away, or 3 hours. I said, okay, that sounds great. So I come back and doing a massage practice. And this lady contacted me from an outlying town. She lived about an hour away. And she said, I hear you're a midwife. And I said, well, yeah, what's on your mind? She said, well, I wanted to have my baby at home because I had that first one in the hospital, and it was horrendous. And I told myself I would not do that again. And I said, well, you're going to be my first mother that I'm going to work with, And she says, that's fine with me. She goes, I got the message that you were to help me with this baby. So, and these are the kind of women I worked with. They were committed, they were convinced, they were guided, they were sincere, because you need that kind of a commitment having baby at home, And so I told her, well, you have to find, this is my first one, you have to find a doctor backup. And so she did. She got a doctor backup, and I was doing prenatal on her and everything. And then she called me one day and said, my doctor said the baby is breech, and he can't let me go to have it at home if I'm in a breech. I said, well, I tell you what, maybe this is just a little pause for you to really decide, do you really want to have this baby at home? Are you sure you want to have this baby home? And what you can do is just like get in the tub and take a nice bath and just gently rub your stomach around in a circle and talk to the baby. Ask it to turn around. Okay, I can try that. So then she called me in about a week. So she goes, guess what? The baby turned. I said, okay, I guess we're on. So, and that was the first one. I had to drive up with my attendant. I had somebody help me. We drove up across the desert and at night, an hour away from where we were. And I noticed my gas tank was kind of riding on empty. We go, okay, keep us going. It was it was magical. We got us there. So again, this is just to share. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect person to hear what's right or not a lot, but in this situation with the babies, it was so obvious that I was being trained in spirit, how important the intuition, how important it was for me to listen. And that's what the midwife said. She goes, if you get a hit going out the door to get something, get it right away. Don't even question, and just really pay attention. So I helped deliver 12 babies and different walks of life. And some of these women were high risk. And they were adamant. They were adamant that they didn't want to have this baby in the hospital. So, okay, as long as you have a doctor backup, we can do it. So, it was like one of the ladies was a Mormon lady, and I think she was part of a polygamist group. She was only 14 years old. She was bigger than I was, a large woman. But that was an amazing experience. And every birth had its specialty of how they were born. So going back to this first lady here, she calls me up and says, "Okay, I'm having contractions. Okay, well, we'll be there in about an hour." But the day before, which was funny, I had a dream, and the angels were teaching me how to really check for dilation. What does a 4 centimeter feel like in the dream? Because I didn't really get the chance to do that up in Salt Lake because there was so much going on. So I just went, okay, well. So the minute I walked in the door, she goes, "Can you check me for dilation?" And so I was just in that zone. It was just a knowingness about everything. And the baby was born great, was a little boy, and it's just really a wonderful experience. So I'm just going to highlight some of these people. One lady, she was having her 10th child. And so I went over there, and it was kind of a big thing for her, the 10th child. So after she delivered the baby, the placenta wasn't releasing. And I said, "What are you holding on to? I know maybe you have to let go of the fact that this is your last child. I mean, at least you have 10 of them." And so I had to work with her a little bit like that. And so, because if something doesn't change in a minute or two, you're going to have to go to the hospital. So she got in gear and she let go of it. So those are the kind of magical experiences that I love talking about with people. So let me see. And the other ones were kind of easy going. And there was this one lady. She was the quietest and the most present in her birthing. She didn't make a sound. She just breathed through her transition. She goes, I can handle this. I'll just pay. I'm just here if you need me, you know. She did the whole thing. It was really amazing to watch that capability that would be if someone was in that state like she was. So, well, the big one was the breech birth. The midwives came through Hurricane where I was living there and said, "Would you like to go to Mexico with us and help the ladies in this village learn about midwifery and having babies at home and all those kinds of things?" And I said, "Well, sure, I'd like to." So my friend, who was pregnant, she said that she would take care of my daughter, and so I could go down there. And I said, "Okay, that'd be great." So we went down there, and it was really, really wonderful, magical trip to go to this village. And there was a woman who was already curandero. She delivered babies, and she said she taught us. She said a curandero taught her that if you do these four things, you'll never lose a breech baby. And so we all, wow, okay, great, you know. So came back, and my friend, she says, "Well, I'm going into labor, and the doctor isn't here. Dr. Plunkett was supposed to deliver the baby." And she goes, "You know, if he's not here, you're the one that's gonna help me." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, okay." And so she calls, and I went, "Oh gosh." Here we go. So went over there, and she was of Mormon faith, a beautiful family, so many people in the room. You know, it was just the energy there. You could just feel the angels. And I mean, it was really wonderful. And she was determined to have this baby at home. This would be her, I think it was her seventh child if, from the new husband, the first one. The first one with the new husband, but she had six other children before. So, and she was 42 years old. So that kind of starts to put you over the limit, you know. She says, "Nope, we're going to have this baby at home no matter what." I said, "Okay, we'll get your doctor back up together." And so during the course of it, just some strange things weren't lining up. And, you know, and the baby can turn at any time if it wanted to, but it could have been down and then turned up for all I know, but didn't detect it until, because the heartbeat was down below. And so, and I had an attendant there, my friend too. She was there, and so all of a sudden, you know, she started pushing and the transition and stuff, and her husband comes over to me and goes, "That doesn't look like a head." I go, "No, it's not a head. You know, it's the rear end." Uh-oh. And I just went, and we all just go, and I just went, in my mind, I said, "I gotta get her to the hospital." And I heard this voice loud and clear saying, "You don't have time. You know what to do. Do it." So I just stepped into that zone and started to do the four things. First, you cover the baby's umbilical cord, pull the legs out, cover the cord with the arm, and then I'll go on up the birth canal and find the baby's space, because what happens, they could get caught in the cervix and choke. So that next thing was to put the finger in its mouth, my finger in its mouth, and pull it down.
Wow.
Yeah, and pull it down. And so I was in another world.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
just said, "Okay, you guys."
yeah.
And then so she started, okay, push, she's pushing, pushing. And I got her up on her feet, like squatting position. You know, the baby started coming down. And then, okay, so I said, "Come on down, come on down. Come on, everything's okay, come on down." And then I would say, "How are you doing?" to the baby. And it would lick my finger like this. I go, "Okay, let's keep on going." So we keep on going. Pushing, it was coming down. "How are you doing in there? You doing okay?" my finger, and it was coming down like this,
Hmm.
but so it's going against gravity, which is a hard thing.
Hmm.
So the baby, so he pops out, and he's just like there. I go, well. So I told her husband, come over to the father, come over here and tell him you love him, and hold him and all that kind of stuff, because she kind of started to hemorrhage,
Hmm.
and so I said, here, take care of him. I got to take care of her. So with the herbs, mistletoe, cayenne, and kneading the stomach, we got the bleeding stopped. And so um, again, the importance of listening.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Yeah.
was no other way.
Yeah.
So the baby was fine. She got fine, and I said, okay, we'll have to sew you up tomorrow.
Hmm.
It was too much long, hard thing. So it went back the next morning. And I went and looked it up in the book. How come I didn't know it was a breach beforehand? Because it was a rare phenomena where the heartbeat echoes off and it bounces off the bottom, so you can't know. And then it's in the baby, I don't know, just wasn't turned right or something. But that's what happened. And so I went back and I said, she goes, you weren't supposed to know it
Yeah.
was a breach,
Yeah.
because you would have taken me to the hospital and I told you I was going to have the baby at home.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, great, I'm off the hook. No, she didn't. She knew. And the people in the room, the prayer in the room, I mean, it was just amazing. And I said, did you feel any pain? I mean, what? She goes, no, I was in heaven with the angels. I heard singing. I had feel no pain. So that's the kind of beauty that it was. And so, but me, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what just happened here? And then the when a baby comes down, it kind of goes against gravity, so it could get a Rhinex.
Hmm.
And the baby had a little Rhinex, so she tried to take it to the chiropractor to get it, the neck check. He goes, I don't even want to touch this baby. You guys have it at home. I don't want to have be responsible for anything. And I just said, okay, I'll show you how to release it. So I just showed them some trigger points and things like that, and within a week the baby's health was fine. So um, that's what that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Biggest one.
I was thinking about, I think it's interesting because I don't know why I was thinking about episiotomy today, you know? And I'm like, why am I thinking about episiotomy? And so maybe that's part of this conversation. And it's like, is it because there's, doctors who will cut as the baby's coming out or planning, but typically natural birth, you don't do anything, right? You just
I didn't do anything.
no,
You know,
no,
e-
yeah.
either way, no way. And but so she tore pretty bad, but she would heal. You know,
Right, right.
so so anyway, any other questions?
Well, I just want to say, um, your recollection of these blessed moments and how you are so present for people and also new beings, new, yeah, the babies coming in. Have you ever delivered twins?
No, no, I never delivered twins.
Yeah.
But one thing, when I was like checking for the head coming down, this is a normal birth, and I put my head
Mhm.
on fontanelle up here,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the position of the head.
yeah,
I felt this shot of energy run through my arm and leg. I go, whoa, a
yeah.
lot of energy going on. And then when the baby comes out, I always try to give it to the mother and the father so they can look at the baby's eyes.
Yeah.
But I had a chance to be the first one when I brought it out, and it looked at me, and again,
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
straight from those higher realms, this baby was
Mm-hmm.
him bringing in that beautiful divine presence at that time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just a lot of little experiences.
Yeah. I feel that do you attract pregnant women in your life or women who have newborns or anything like that? Or,
Sometimes I do, yeah. A lot of times when I'm doing the cranial work, people who are getting ready to have a baby, they come and get some cranial work because I know the effect of it now that I've learned cranial work later.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And because it just helps open the person up more. I was working, assisting this lady. She spoke Spanish and I couldn't speak Spanish,
mm-hmm,
but my attendant, she's fluent in Spanish. Okay, hey, tell her this, tell her that. And the baby just wasn't coming down, it wasn't coming out. And I heard the voice say, pop the pubic bone. So, okay, how do I do that? And it like was guiding my hands, and I told her, she's not going to like this and it's going to hurt. Tell her we have to do this. And once that pubic bone popped, her pelvic spread apart. And that's
mm-hmm.
the point. The pelvic pubic bone is very important. And that's what when people come, pregnant ladies come, I always focus on making sure that the pubic bone is open and moving so it can expand because it can get stuck in
Mm-hmm.
normal life.
Mm-hmm.
And just to make sure it was open so that
Yeah.
the whole pelvic area can open up. So just learning really beautiful things. And then I came back 6 years later
Mm-hmm.
um, because my friend who had the breach, I had learned cranial work, and I knew this boy needed to have some cranial work.
Yeah.
So I came back and I worked with him, and it was really cool. And then some of the other mothers heard I was in town. She goes, "Wow, let's bring the kids. I want to see if they could sense you."
Oh,
So there was this office, and the mother was there, and I came in the room, and the little girl just looked at me. Who's that lady, Mom? So she kind of remembered. She's the one that helped you come in. So that was kind of cool too.
yeah.
Just sweet little thing. But then what was his name? Wiley was his name. The little boy, Beach Boy, and when I came back, I worked on him when he was 6 years old. And I came back later. He was a grown man. He was studying to become a lawyer, a little tall, beautiful. And we'd sit around and talk about the experience. And we go,
Mm.
"Oh, we're sorry we have to do this, but this is a big event." And he would just laugh.
Yeah, to me, that's a blessing to be able to speak about your birth. Someone can, you know, um, you
Yeah,
know, yeah, I feel that's a strong blessing to know who was there and the energies and the story and you know,
everybody has a different perception of what was going on.
exactly. And even the child, I mean, how you were hearing things and feeling things, the child and the sucking on the finger, how already that intelligence, that divine.
I know that just shows you when you're in that zone and in the presence,
Mhm,
everything you need to know is there.
exactly.
That was um, a continuous
Yeah.
training there in that field during that year
Yeah.
working with these babies.
Well, I was just thinking about that young man going off to be a lawyer or to law school and how intuition, uh, a lot of people that I meet, young people, they don't even know what intuition is,
Mhm.
and or even older people, it's like they look at me like, what? And he already had a context for it. And I could see that he could use that in his practice, of who he is.
Well, actually, he didn't follow through with that. he decided to become a missionary.
Yeah, well, whatever. See,
And they
to
went,
me,
that,
that's
that was more of his
yeah,
feeling, and the intuition
yeah,
was played in being a missionary, going down to Mexico with
yeah.
the people there. So
I have such chills around him because it's like he trusted his spirit, not the program of I'm going to go succeed and become, become this because it sounds good. And, you know,
yeah, it
yeah.
was amazing.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
trying to keep trying to track him down, but you can't these days because
Hmm.
nobody has a home phone and you can't Google, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They are. It's in St. Utah, Hurricane, Utah. I could probably go back there and find some people who are still around,
Yeah. Probably.
asking them where they were.
Yeah. It's, I can imagine, that children are also attracted to you.
Yeah, they are. They come up. They see something around me.
Hmm.
This is I noticed those things. I was in a restaurant once, and there was this little baby. I don't know, a few tables down. He was sitting in a high chair. He had his head totally turned around, looking at me, and he was just staring at me. I went,
Yeah.
"Hi."
Hmm. Hmm.
So they do. I guess they pick that up,
Oh, yeah.
kids, and they,
Yeah.
yeah,
That and the ones that stick their heads over the the
what?
chairs,
Yeah, yeah, looking at me.
the
And then other times I'd be walking, and he would look at me and he'd follow me like this. This
Yeah,
one. Go,
yeah,
hi.
yeah,
So
it's
yeah, thanks
yeah,
for bringing that up.
yeah. So since we last talked, you had, your a few events with your new, practice, in the
Yeah,
sense of expos and, some, silent walks and retreat sort of things, and um where are you in, how do you feel, and is there anything that you want to share around um kind of your transition from December? I mean, here we are coming up already in November,
hmm,
and I feel that there's been a lot of transition for you.
there has. It's so much of it is the inner knowingness, the trusting, and the just being
Mm,
there, not doing this or doing that, but do things, but be in the presence. It's just gotten so strong
mhm,
at learning how to lead with that. So, and um, I am just not pushing the river,
yeah,
seeing the momentum that's coming in. And so right now, I just got through talking with somebody, and I'm going to get the materials, the marketing materials from the reconnection.com, actually get those materials. And she lives in Boulder, the my friend, and she's been in it for a long time. So way back when, it's been 30 years since this reconnection has
mhm,
started.
mhm,
And so my next step now is to get my marketing materials all ready. And because I told her about the fair I did we talk about that last
yes, we
time?
did, yes,
Yeah. And those were just little samples. And she said, just um, so what I'm doing right now is starting to get some books to present in my presentation, how I'm going to do that, and get that all down before I go. That's my next step, is to go on out. And there's a
yeah,
few people already who are into it, but this is going to be something where I want to really get this information out to people. It's just a different approach.
Mhm.
to letting go and receiving,
Yes.
because instead of think we have to become something, do this, you don't have to. All we have to do is be, and let the rocks or the things that are obscuring that which we already are, like the essence, we are that essence already. We are love. We are divine. We just we just have to recognize it, and it's already there. So what's obscuring that? What? And so this is what I'm seeing, that the reconnected healing is all about. It's they don't have to do anything. They just receive, open and receive,
Yeah.
just dissolves,
Yeah.
and it just happens, and they move forward in grace.
Yeah.
And so it's just my just wanting to share that opportunity with people. It's
Yeah.
not doesn't have to be hard work. I mean, now especially
Mhm.
all the stuff going on around,
Yeah.
we don't have to try to do this or try to become this. You already are
Or
that.
that. Yeah.
So just allow what comes up to, and it will dissolve. So if you embrace whatever it is you feel. So anyway, so that's kind of what I'm focusing on now.
I have a question because I think I probably mention this every time we talk,
Oh,
is about you're a phenomenal musician. I have experienced it live. How you compose, intuitively compose in the moment,
mm,
and bring really, I think it's divine sound. It's healing sound. I don't know what you would call it, but I'm always saying, okay, so where's your music? Are you playing anywhere? Are you?
well, I have a keyboard out. It's
Mhm,
out there on the table where I can get to it, and I've got some songs that I can lead out with.
mhm.
But it's coming.
Good.
I don't know how it's going to have to come from within, because
Yeah.
but at least I got it out there
Yeah.
in due time. In due time, yeah. And that was a really magical time when those pieces were running through me,
Hmm.
original pieces, and I got it all recorded at home in my little baby grand that I had,
Yeah.
and then went down to Denver.
Mhm.
My brother's church had a recording studio up in the attic, and I said, "Well, how much would you?" Oh, he go, "We'll just do it for free." Just going up
Oh,
there.
wow.
So, but they had Yanni's grand piano up there.
What?
So I got to play on his piano, Yanni's
Oh
piano.
my
And it was
goodness.
a small room in the middle of summer, and it was sweltering hot, and you can't have fans going or air conditionings when you're recording.
Hmm.
So that was a real, I just feel like that was another really big accomplishment, because I had to learn every song without making one mistake,
Yes.
because the guy's equipment, he didn't have the capability to punch out a mistake.
Wow.
I went, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Wow.
So you step into it, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I did this a couple times. I had to do it over again, but it was pretty, pretty, really intense. But and then so I did get a CD out of that. So, but that just came through, and,
Hmm.
and that just kind of stopped
Hmm.
with all the other things I had to
Yeah.
go, go learn.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I find as an artist, I mean, I speak about this in the way that it's always in us.
Yes,
And it's when it's time to be birthed, let's talk about, and then how those events occur. I mean, it's miraculous in a way.
It
How
is. When you're in the flow,
Yeah.
it's just I come home from going to a retreat or just in the house and I'd sit down on that piano,
Mhm.
the music would come through me. It would play me.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
piano played me, and I
Yeah.
just okay. I got to record that section. Record that section.
Yeah.
And I did that all by myself. And um, I found out later when I came back home. I learned that another pianist who was a famous lady, and she does her recording in the studio up in Prescott where I was living. And I was talking to the guy, and he goes, "Yeah, she comes in and records sections at a time." I go, "Is that how they do it?" Sections at a time. I was trying to do the whole song at once. So I learned something there.
Yeah. And nowadays the equipment is so different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So different. So I mean I have
Yeah.
connections to do recording and stuff, but just not there yet. And because it takes time. Once you get in
Yes.
there, you gotta keep going it. Maybe I've got to get this reconnection off the ground and the
Yes.
wheels and talk about that first
Mhm. Mhm.
before
Mhm.
I'm gonna be given that room to, because I just I love it,
Yeah.
but it's well, it's a powerful vehicle.
It's a powerful vehicle. It's sound and vibration and the way that how it touches people's hearts. It's like what's that? Where's that coming from? I remember you playing in an open space that had a grand piano, and people can go in and out. And you were just hanging out, doing just
Oh,
playing.
you're now you're talking about the Verizons
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Verizons.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When we lived in the same complex, and
Yeah,
people would walk in, and it was there for people's use, and you would sit down, and it was like someone was people were saying, is there professional music tonight? Is and then the effect of the children, and it's like happenings in the 70s. It's these occurrences that always surprised and opened people up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice because I remember some guys were sitting there and they decided to sit down and then come up and go, "Wow, that's really,"
Hmm.
I get they really like that. It's a really nice sound you have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just have to ask every time we speak.
I know. Well, I have to just say it's coming. I can't force it because like I said, it takes up time. Like you're taking all your time to write the book.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I need that space because it can go on into the wee hours of the
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
and it's just not there yet. So we'll
I
see.
I get it. You're talking to someone who doesn't even know what sleep is going to be like. I mean, I can fall asleep at 9:30 and be up at you know 11:45, and then right till 4:30, and then sleep till 7. I mean, every night is it's I'm in the flow of whatever needs to come through. And every day is like that as well. So,
There is an opportunity I can take advantage of. My
mhm,
daughter's music teacher. She's just an incredible woman. She's very
mhm,
beautiful, famous until she had her accident and stuff. But
mhm, mhm.
she has a recital every year around December, and Angeline played
Mm,
one of her own songs she wrote. Angeline did,
yeah.
and so um, her teacher said, "Wouldn't you like to just come and play sometime?" And I said, "Well, we'll think about it." So I've been thinking about that because it's coming up, and the song that I would play was the one I already wrote
Mhm,
called
good.
Letting Go.
Mhm.
It's the first one. Everybody loves that song. So that would be like kicking it into gear,
Yeah.
maybe if I feel like it.
Yeah, um whether or not it's kicking it into gear or just having that experience
Yeah, I mean, you got to
in this time.
play it in front of a bunch of people staring at you.
Yeah. Do you play often with your eyes closed, or do you play
Oh,
with your
a lot of times. A lot of times.
yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know how to be
Oh, of
in the
course, but
zone.
yeah, I know, but I don't know if it's time to meet. We'll see. Anyway,
And they're never gonna know if you messed up.
no, they won't know. When people would say, "I didn't hear anything."
Yeah, yeah, it's because it's just when it's so a part of you and your heart space.
Well, thank you. I mean, you
Yeah,
recognize
yeah,
my mom was in the assisted living center there in Westminster, and they
yeah.
had a cute little baby grand piano, and there I go in the
Mm,
lobby and I play, do my own thing, play some songs, but then I'd go off into my own. And the people would come out on the balcony and they would listen to me, and they'd come and sit around in the chair and listen. And one of the workers there, she goes, "Oh my God, I heard you playing." She goes, "I saw Jesus walking in the crowd." So that to me, whatever experience,
yeah,
what they experienced it.
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
thinking about that at all. It's just,
yeah. It's not about
well,
thinking.
I know. I've had these little experiences throughout life to
Hmm.
confirm this space that
Yeah,
I go into whatever.
yeah. Well, I honor that you have these many abilities and expressions throughout your life and
Yeah,
explorations and how you understand the pauses and honor them and the process of becoming. Do you have anything that you'd like to share as we wind this up? Any additional thing or
just to encourage people to just be who they are. Be in your essence. You are already that.
Mhm.
So just be in it, bathe in it, receive what's there for you, and it'll help carry you through wherever you're going.
Mhm.
Believe me, you know what I'm
Yes,
talking.
I know, I know. It's the trust part of stepping into you, stepping in.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
it's what we're here for. We're here to
Mm,
express the divine within us,
exactly.
or other ourself and others. So
Yeah.
anyway, and be happy.
Hmm. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, as always, I love you.
I love you too.